The forbidden vision Liam stood still in the center of the grand chamber. Lights above glowed soft blue. Hundreds of eyes watched him. Long fingers, thick claws, and glimmering scales filled the room. The Galactic Council had gathered, the most powerful beings in the universe, and they were all waiting for the human to speak. Liam was not a soldier, not a scientist. He was a simple envoy from Earth, invited to observe, not to lead. But something had changed. Something none of them expected. It began 3 days ago. A strange object was found drifting near the edge of council space. No signal, no energy. Just cold black metal shaped like a twisted eye. Council ships scanned it. Nothing. No data. No language. Just silence. They brought it inside. When the strongest minds touched it, they felt dizzy. The wisest of the Elveran race collapsed. A member of the Dreadskarn screamed until her lungs burst. The object wasn't just strange. It was dangerous. But when Liam looked at it, he blinked once, then whispered, "It's a message." The room had gone silent. No alien had seen anything. Yet the human spoke like he understood. Today, they asked him to explain. He stepped forward. His voice was calm, but everyone could see the sweat on his forehead. "When I looked at the object," Liam said slowly, "I didn't see metal. I saw a light, very dim, pulsing, and in that light a shape appeared." Council members leaned, and Liam closed his eyes. It wasn't just a shape, it was a pattern, and then a warning. Murmurs spread across the chamber. "What kind of warning?" asked an old chancellor from the Talari swarm. Liam opened his eyes. It said, "You are not alone. It is returning. Prepare your kind. But only the Watchers can see it." The room froze. "The Watchers?" asked the voice of Prime Elder Volthern. "What does that mean?" Liam shook his head. "I don't know. But when I heard that voice, it felt like it was speaking only to me." An ancient member of the Drenari stood up. His eyes were wide. "That phrase has not been spoken for thousands of cycles," he said. "It was erased from history. No one remembers it. How do you know it?" Liam looked confused. "I don't know. I just saw it." The Drenari's voice cracked. "Only one species was ever called the Watchers, but they were lost, destroyed. And now, you speak their words?" "I just told you what I saw," Liam said, trying not to raise his voice. "I didn't mean to." "Enough," the elder snapped. Guards moved closer to Liam. Some council members looked afraid, others looked angry. No one knew what to believe. A soft voice cut through the noise. "Let the human draw what he saw." All eyes turned to a tall being of light, a rare and silent observer from the Myrelin archives. She floated forward, holding a white surface in the air. Liam took the pen. His hand trembled, but slowly he drew the pattern. A simple shape. An eye inside a circle, with 3 waves coming out. Many gasped. Others backed away. This is not just a message," whispered Volthern. "This is a sign, a forbidden one." The Myrelin observer spoke again. "This shape appeared before the fall of the Valian homeworld, just days before it was destroyed. They had no humans then." Liam looked up. "Then maybe that's why I saw it." "Why only you?" someone shouted. Liam's face grew pale. "Maybe because only humans, were made to see it." The room exploded in arguments. Some accused Liam of lying, others wanted him locked away. A few feared him. Liam stood still. Inside, he was shaking. He had no idea why he could see the vision. He had no idea what it truly meant. But deep inside, something told him this was just the beginning. Something old, something hidden, was waking up, and somehow it saw humans as part of its plan. But whether that was a gift or a curse, no one knew yet, and the galaxy was not ready for the answer. The fear behind the throne. Liam did not sleep that night. He sat in the corner of his guest chamber aboard the great council station, staring at the strange pattern he had drawn only hours before, the eye within the circle. The waves. It was simple. Too simple. Yet the reaction from the council members had been anything but calm. Outside his door stood 2 guards from the Velkari order. Tall, silent creatures with crystal blue armor and black veils over their eyes. Liam could feel it. They weren't there to protect him. They were watching him, as if he were a threat. He held the small tablet in his hands again. The lines of the drawing hadn't moved, but the meaning behind them grew heavier. The voice still echoed in his mind. It is returning. Prepare your kind. Only the Watchers can see it. What was returning? Why only humans? And most of all, why did the Drenari elder look like he had seen a ghost when Liam spoke those words? The next morning, Liam was summoned. This time, not to the public chamber but to a small private hall deep within the station. Only a handful of council members were present, the oldest ones, and behind them, hidden behind layers of light shields and shadows, sat beings Liam could barely look at. He understood at once. These were the real rulers of the galaxy. The ones behind the throne. The ones most citizens never even knew existed. An Elverin shade moved forward first. Its voice sounded like wind trapped in a glass jar. Human, tell us again what you saw, but this time, tell us everything. Liam cleared his throat. I saw a black field, then a dim light. It grew, slowly, and then the eye appeared. It stared back at me, and I heard words, not with my ears. They were just there, in my head, like a memory I didn't know I had. Describe the voice, whispered a member of the Mirrolin. It felt ancient, Liam said, but not old like time, more like deep, like it had waited forever for someone to listen. No one spoke. The air felt cold. Finally, the Drenari elder stepped forward again. His voice was quiet, but every syllable cut like a blade. Long ago, before the council was formed, there were warnings. Old stories. We called them the silence markers. Devices left behind by something we never understood. Most were destroyed, some vanished. But all of them carried one message: never let the Watchers return. Liam blinked. Why? The elder stared at him. Because the last time they walked among the stars bled. Another silence. Heavier this time. The Mirrolin floated closer. You are not one of the old Watchers, human, but your kind may carry their mark. You mean our sight? Liam asked. You think this is genetic? No, she said. We believe it is something worse, a design. Liam felt the floor shift under his feet. You think humans were made for this? The elder nodded. And now, one of your kind has unlocked the first vision, which means the others will follow. Elsewhere on the station, unrest began. Rumors spread that humans could see ghosts in the dark. Some called them prophets, others called them cursed. Alien staff who once smiled at Liam now avoided his path. Food deliveries arrived without a word. Even his translator assistant, a soft-voiced Zilari, refused to look him in the eyes. And worse, more artifacts had been found. 3, to be exact. Scattered in old sectors near collapsed wormholes. The council was alarmed. Scans showed faint energy pulses, but only when humans were nearby. When non-humans approached, the artifacts remained cold and dead. Liam offered to help, to explain what he saw, but instead of thanks, they sent a silent message to his door. Stand down. Do not interfere. Your safety is not guaranteed. Liam didn't sleep that night either, because now he understood the truth. They weren't afraid of the artifact. They were afraid of him. Hunted by those they warned, it began with silence. Liam stepped out of his chamber early that morning and noticed something wrong. The corridor lights flickered, not once, but in a steady pulse, like a heartbeat. He looked left and right. Empty halls. No sound. No footsteps. Not even the low hum of the translator drones. The station felt abandoned. Then he noticed the security drone following him. Small, round, quiet, but present. It didn't speak. Didn't scan. Just followed. Watching. Liam kept walking. His destination was the observatory wing, where the 3 new artifacts were held. He had promised himself he would see them, with or without permission. If the visions were growing, if the messages were real, then waiting any longer might mean disaster. But before he reached the end of the hallway, 6 guards blocked his path. Not Velkari, not council-assigned protectors. These were something else. Soldiers in matte black armor, no insignia, no visible rank, eyes glowing faint red through their masks. They said one word. Return. Liam raised his hands. I just want to see the artifacts. They stepped closer. You don't understand, Liam said quickly. I think one of them is waking up. The vision I had, it changed last night. I saw movement. No reply. Liam stepped back. Listen to me. There's something wrong. I think the message is trying to warn us again. We can't ignore it. The soldiers raised their weapons. Not stun rifles. Plasma blades. Liam froze. That was when the hallway exploded. A blinding blue flash, then a gust of wind and heat. Smoke poured into the corridor as a hidden door in the wall burst open. A figure rushed out. Small, fast and glowing with white symbols. It was a Miralyn. Follow, she said sharply. Liam didn't hesitate. They ran through service tunnels, through pressurized maintenance shafts that hadn't been touched in years. The Miralyn moved without fear, her glow lighting the dark paths. Liam's heart raced. They were going to kill me, he said between breaths. Yes, the Miralyn replied. The council has changed its vote. Your ability is now considered a threat. Why? I didn't choose this, I'm just trying to help. She stopped, her eyes locking on his. They are afraid of what comes next, and so am I. Liam felt a chill crawl down his spine. You said something is waking up. Yes, she said, and only humans can see it. But what you don't know, Liam, is that once it knows you can see it, it sees you back. Hours later, hidden in a lower section of the station, Liam sat surrounded by a small circle of outcasts, researchers, forgotten archivists, and quiet rebels. None were warriors. None held power, but all of them believed him. One, a silent archivist from the low-gravity world of Trelos, showed him a file carved into crystal. It contained records of lost civilizations, ones erased from galactic history. And in those records, repeated again and again, was a single phrase. They walk blind beside the sleepers. But the Watchers will see. Liam stared at the crystal. They knew we were coming, he whispered. The Miralyn nodded. Or perhaps they made sure you would. Meanwhile, the council moved quickly. A new law passed in secret. No human shall be allowed near any ancient object without council approval. Ships were sent toward Earth, not to protect it, but to watch it, spy on it, control it. Human diplomats across the stars were called back. Some disappeared. Others died in strange accidents. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer welcome. But what the council did not know, what they had no way of knowing, was that the artifacts had already begun reaching out, not with sound, not with code, but through the minds of humans. Across the galaxy, ordinary people began to dream. Strange visions, stars falling, planets screaming, shadows moving behind the sun, and one word echoed in every dream: return. Liam stood near a viewport that night, staring out into the endless black. He no longer felt like a guest on the station. He felt like prey, but somewhere deep inside him, something had changed. Not just fear, not just confusion, a spark, a sense of purpose. They were hunting him now. But Liam understood one thing very clearly. He had seen what no one else could. And now, It was his duty to make sure others saw it, too, no matter the cost. The unseen war begins. Liam awoke with a gasp. His body was cold, not from the temperature around him, but from what he had just seen in his dream. His hands trembled as he reached for the side panel of the shelter where he now lived, deep beneath the council station, in the old emergency tunnels long forgotten by most species. He couldn't forget the images, a city of light collapsing into ash, stars flickering out like dying candles, and a whisper, not in his ears but in his soul. They walk again. He had seen the dream before, every night since his contact with the artifact, but this time, it felt stronger, more real, and he wasn't alone. Across the stars, humans were reporting similar dreams. Farmers, pilots, children, artists, ordinary people waking up screaming, drawing the same symbols Liam had seen. Some went to local authorities. Others kept silent. A few even vanished after telling someone, and Liam had just learned why. "They're calling it neural contamination," said Yara, a Trellan scientist who had joined Liam's hidden group. "The council believes you're infecting others with a kind of psychic virus." Liam looked at her, his voice steady. "You don't believe that?" "No," she whispered. "But they do. And that means they'll come." In the corner, the Miralyn observed without speaking. Her glow had dimmed in recent days. She claimed it was because of the dreams. They affected her too, even if she couldn't fully see them. "It's not a virus," Liam said. "It's a warning system, built into us. We were meant to receive this message. Someone designed humans for this." Yara hesitated. "If that's true, then the question is why?" The group had relocated to a decaying moon orbiting the outer ring of council space, long abandoned, once used as a mining colony before it was sealed off due to strange gravitational pulses. Now it was a graveyard of dust and steel, and home to the second artifact. Liam stood before it now. It looked like nothing. Just a half-buried piece of black stone, cracked and dull. Council scanners had found no readings, no energy, just static. But as soon as Liam stepped near, it began to hum. A soft sound, like wind against glass. The Miralyn gasped. "It's responding. To you." Liam didn't speak. He knelt, reaching out slowly. The moment his fingers touched the surface, his vision blurred. The room faded away. Suddenly, he stood inside a memory not his own. He saw a galaxy full of light, civilizations untouched by war, peace stretching across endless time. Then, the light cracked. A shadow fell from somewhere outside time itself, and beings, older than history, screamed as they were consumed. Only one phrase remained in the dark. "Seal the site." Liam fell back, coughing. He looked up at his team, eyes wild. "This is a prison, this moon, this artifact. It was built to contain something." "What?" Yara asked. "I don't know," Liam said, "but it's breaking open, and no one else can see it." Meanwhile, on the station above, the council was splitting. Not officially, not yet, but in whispers. Some members feared the truth. Others feared the human gift. And a few, a dangerous few, wanted to use the gift for war in secret. A division called Black Veil was formed. Their mission: hunt any human who showed signs of the dream, remove them. Quietly. No trial. Ships were dispatched. Families were taken. Earth's communication lines were slowed, disrupted under the excuse of stellar storms. But still the dream spread, because you can't stop what's already inside. Liam sat with Yara and the Miralyn that night. They had made contact with a group of human dreamers on a distant trade planet. The dreamers spoke of something new, a voice inside the visions now clearer than before. It said, "The blind shall fall. The watchers must rise." "We're being called," Liam said. "To what?" Yara asked. Liam looked into the distance. "To fight a war no one else can even see." The Miralyn finally spoke. "Then you will not be fighting enemies of flesh and bone. You will be fighting shadows, things that live inside fear, memory, silence. Liam nodded. And we're the only ones who can see where they hide. The awakening, it began with the screams of stars. Not real stars, not yet, but in the minds of those who dreamed. Humans across the galaxy were now seeing the same thing each night, stars flickering out, one by one, as if being devoured by something invisible. Some called it prophecy, others called it madness, but Liam knew better. It was memory. Not human memory. Something older. A warning burned into the very soul of his kind. Liam stood before the third artifact, deep inside the broken temple on an ice world long forgotten. This one was different from the others. It wasn't silent. It wasn't cold. It sang. The hum started low, but when Liam stepped forward, it grew louder, not in sound, but in sensation. His teeth ached. His skin tingled. His bones buzzed, and then his vision blurred once again. This time, the dream did not wait for nightfall. He stood in a field of black grass beneath a blood-red sky. Towers rose around him, glowing with runes he couldn't read, yet somehow understood. They told a story. A species born with open eyes that could see the things others could not. They were not gods. They were not conquerors. They were guards, watchers, protectors against the silent enemy that lived between time and thought. But the enemy was clever. It whispered, and the galaxy listened. So the watchers were hunted, erased, scattered, but not destroyed. One escaped, and that one Liam now knew was them, humanity. The voice returned. You were made to see, now you must choose to act. Liam gasped, falling to his knees. Snow whipped around him as his team rushed forward. What happened? Kiara asked. Liam's hands were shaking, his pupils had widened, and in the center of each eye, tiny rings of light had formed. I saw the past, he whispered. Not ours, theirs. The real council, the first one. The ones who were wiped out. The Miralyn floated closer. And what did they leave behind? Liam looked up at her. Us. Back aboard the main council station, panic spread like wildfire. A hidden faction, the Black Veil, had attempted to use a captured human child to trigger one of the artifacts. The result was catastrophic. The artifact melted, not burned. Melted. As if reality itself had bent. Every alien in the room went blind for 10 seconds, and when they could see again, the walls were covered in messages written in a language no one had seen before. No one, except the humans. Those humans who saw the dream could now read it. And they wept, because the message said, the gate is breaking, the hunger knows your name, and it wears your shape. Liam returned to the hidden base and began drawing, not from memory, from instinct, circular patterns, spiraling glyphs, impossible shapes that moved even when still. Each one matched the language on the council walls. We're not seeing the future, Liam said. We're seeing what's already here. The enemy isn't coming. It's already among us, hiding in plain sight. Why can't the others see it? Yara asked, fear tightening her voice. Liam looked at her slowly. Because they don't feel guilt. They don't carry pain like we do. Humans break. Humans suffer. Humans remember. That's what the enemy fears most. Why? Because memory is light, and it hides in the dark. The next day, the first council species went dark. The Orcanary homeworld, gone. Not destroyed. Erased, like it never existed. The stars around it now bent oddly, as if space was wounded. The council blamed humans. The Black Veil moved again, this time with full approval. Capture orders. Kill orders. Humanity was no longer just a threat. It was the target. Liam knew the time for running had ended. He gathered his team, showed them the full vision. The artifacts were not weapons. They were keys, and together they could reveal what was hiding in the empty corners of reality. We have to show them, Liam said. Not tell them. They won't believe words. But if we open their eyes, even for a second, they'll see what we see. Yara hesitated. What if they go mad? Liam's face was calm. Then at least they'll know the truth before the darkness takes them. The war had already started. No armies, no battles, just fear and shadows. But now, humanity would fight back, with sight, with memory, and with the one thing the enemy could never take from them, the truth. When fear meets vision, the galaxy had begun to crack, not with fire, not with warships, not with loud destruction, but with fear. It spread like frost on glass, silent, quick, and unstoppable. Worlds that once held steady alliances with the Galactic Council were withdrawing. Long-trusted races now accused each other of hiding the darkness. Fleets were recalled, border planets were abandoned, and in the quiet that followed, shadows moved. Shadows only humans could see. And now finally Liam was ready to show the rest of the galaxy what they were blind to. The device was not a weapon. It had no sharp edges, no sound, no pulse of energy. Instead, it was made from fragments of the three artifacts, merged using ancient star metal and human neural patterns. Liam called it the mirror, not because it reflected light, but because it reflected truth. When they see it, Liam said to his team, some will break, some will scream, but others will understand. And what happens after that? Yara asked, her voice low. Liam looked down. Then they'll either stand with us or against us. The council gathering was called an emergency. World after world had gone silent. The erasure of the Orcanary homeworld was only the beginning. Now deep rifts in space were opening near populated systems, not holes, but tears. Like something was clawing from the inside out, and no matter how advanced their sensors were, no species could see it. Except one. They had no choice but to allow the humans to speak again. Liam stepped into the main council chamber under heavy guard. He wasn't alone. Behind him stood 6 other humans, each from a different world, each bearing the same mark, eyes that held the flicker of the vision. Dreamers, survivors, witnesses. 1,000 species watched in silence. Liam placed the device in the center. This is a mirror, he said. Not made to reflect your face, but your soul. A murmur. It shows what hides in the places you pretend don't exist. Your fears, your lies, your shame. And the thing that feeds on all of them. Enough. Riddles, snapped a Skarn lord. What are you hiding behind these words, human? Liam simply touched the device. It opened. No light. No noise. Just a sudden ripple in the air, and one by one council members began to see. They did not all see the same thing. Some saw black vines curling along the walls of their homes, whispering, in ancient tongues. Others saw the faces of the dead, twisted and forgotten, reaching for them through mirrors and dreams. A few saw their own hands soaked in blood that wasn't there, memories of betrayal, guilt, cowardice. And behind all of it, something larger. A shape with no name. A hunger made from silence. A creature that only existed because no one ever dared to see it. One council member fell to the ground, sobbing. Another collapsed, eyes rolled back. A few screamed and fled. The chamber. But some stood still, breathing heavy. And now, they believed. The Miralyn, ever silent, floated forward. Her body trembled, her light flickering like a candle in wind. I see it, she whispered. It was never hiding from us. We were hiding from ourselves. Liam nodded. And it fed on that, for centuries, for eons. Every lie, every fear, every time we refused to face pain, it grew stronger. A council general shouted from the balcony, voice trembling with rage. And what makes you think humans can stop it? You brought this. Your sight opened the gate. Liam looked up at him calmly. No, we didn't open it. We were made to remember it, to see what others cannot. And that means we were also made to stop it. How? Liam turned and pointed at the council itself, not with weapons, not with ships, with truth, with memory, with pain, the things we carry in silence. You call them weakness. We call them our greatest strength. The general raised his weapon, but didn't fire. He was crying. After the mirror showed its vision, silence fell over the galaxy for 3 whole days. Not one attack, not one disappearance, as if the enemy had also stopped, watching, waiting. But Liam knew this was only the eye of the storm. It's afraid now, he told Yara. Because it knows. We're finally looking back. And what happens when we look too long? She asked. Liam smiled, a tired, broken smile. Then it sees us too. The last sight, they stood at the edge of the end. A galaxy once filled with lights and trade. Laughter and science was now silent in too many corners. Fleets floated dead in space, not destroyed by weapons, but emptied. No explosion. No signs of battle. Just ships left with no crew. Planets where every voice had gone quiet, yet no buildings were touched. It was not war, it was consumption, and the creature behind it, the thing older than time, had finally awakened fully. But now, it had a face, because Liam had given it one. He stood aboard the ship Endurance, a human-built vessel unlike any other. It was not the strongest or fastest, but it had something no alien craft could use: the vision. Inside, 7 humans sat in a circle, the Dreamers, chosen not by command, not by rank, but by the same message that had started it all. The whisper, inside their minds, showing them what others refused to see. It's here, said Yara, staring at the black void through the viewport. It's not hiding anymore. Liam nodded. Before them, at the center of dead space, was a tear in reality. Not a hole, not a crack, a mouth, and it was smiling. The Council's remaining forces had gathered nearby. Not to fight, for they could not see what the humans saw. They had come to witness. Inside the dark tear, something began to take shape. Shifting shadows twisted into limbs that never settled. A face made of broken thoughts, teeth made from regrets, eyes that were not eyes. They called it the Devourer. But to Liam, it was something worse. It was everything the galaxy had tried to forget. Every genocide erased from records, every betrayal hidden behind peace treaties, every scream no one wanted to hear, memory, denied. And now, it had become real. The plan was simple, not to fight it, to reveal it, because this creature could only live while unseen. It fed on denial, silence. And so Liam and the Dreamers had trained their minds, shaped their pain into symbols, their regrets into light. They would use the mirror device, now fused with human consciousness, to force the galaxy to see, even for a moment, even if it cost them everything. The ship entered the rift. Liam felt pressure against his skull. Voices of the dead, laughter that twisted, hands that reached for him, not to pull him in, but to offer him a place. Join us. They whispered, forget the burden. Forget the truth. But he pressed forward. Inside the rift, time bent. Their bodies shook. The Dreamers screamed as old memories they never knew flooded their minds. Ancestors who had seen the First War, genetic echoes of fear and fire. And then, they arrived at the heart, the core. A swirling mass of sorrow and shadow, pulsing like a beating heart. Liam activated the mirror, and the Dreamers began to chant. Not with their voices, but with their minds. They remembered. They remembered Earth's darkest moments, the wars, the hate, the pain. And they didn't look away. They embraced it, because in remembering pain, they found purpose. The shadows recoiled. The creature screamed, not with sound but with a crack in reality itself, and the light began to pour in, not from a weapon, not from a star, from within. Above the rift, the council forces gasped as the void changed. The black mass twisted violently, and for the first time they saw it. Not the creature, but the truth it fed on. They saw themselves, their crimes, their secrets, and they broke. Some wept, some howled, some fell to their knees, but none denied it anymore. Inside the heart, Liam floated in darkness. His body was failing. The mirror device had burned itself into his spine. But he was not afraid. He saw a child he once bullied, a friend he once betrayed, a woman he once loved and left behind. And he said, "I'm sorry." The creature stopped. Not in anger, in confusion. It had never heard that before. Sorrow that was, not weakness. Sorrow that did not run. Sorrow that stood. And in that moment, the human mind, full of scars, flaws, and guilt, did what no weapon ever could. It unmade the darkness. The rift collapsed, not in fire, in light, gentle, slow, healing light that flowed across the galaxy. Ships powered on, stars brightened, voices returned to silent worlds. And Liam, he did not return. His body remained inside the broken core, wrapped in drifting starlight. But his voice lived on, recorded in the final message he sent to every race. "We are not your saviors. We are your mirror. Learn to look, and you will learn to heal. We are human, and we see you."